I'll tell you what, one of the most fun weeks of my post-career, and I feel lucky that my career was ended at the US Open by Del Potro. Like if you could write who you would, want to take an exit to, you all the while not wanting to take an exit to anyone, there's nobody classier. There's no one that, however many years later, every time I see him, we have that shared experience. I just really, really like and respect Juan Martin and the life stuff and the injuries and everything that's happened. And he's not one of these guys that went away and doesn't really care that he never made it back. It has tortured him not being able to be back and be in full flight and be healthy. And he's written about it, and it's just your heart goes out to Juan Martin. He's the gentle giant, and we overuse that term, with pretty much anyone who is big and has a decent personality, but he really is just a fantastic human. And I was able to go down to South America and play, I want to say it was a string of 3 or 4 exos where I was basically just traveling around Argentina with Juan Martin. Brooke and I went down, and we had these exos scheduled, but they were scheduled before I retired. And then I decided to retire and was still able to go down there. And just everything you think of him and all the lazy ways that we all use to explain his decency are just magnified. You see how beloved he is in that country. And we played, in Buenos Aires, and then, in Uruguay, and then in a farming town in Argentina, in which was nothing, it wasn't much more than like a tin roof rodeo, something or other. And it was just magic seeing the way that he dealt with people, seeing the way that people just mobbed him, and he's still this gentle way around them. You're around him, and it makes you think, gosh, you know what? I should have and could have been better at all moments in my career when dealing with people. So I don't think Juan Martin, sadly, will ever have peace with his career and the fact that his body kind of took his successes away from him in large part. But hopefully, at the very least, he knows how respected he is, where you get the best player of all time, putting aside training blocks and everything else to come and pay homage in your home country and giving you kind of one last night of magic. No losers in this situation. It's example one of an exhibition working, right? So, and I'm pretty sure that if we had this conversation a week ago, I'm completely anti-exhibition all around. And these last 10 days, I've seen the magic at work and how they actually are beneficial. Are we beyond criticism of complaining that we play too much and then we go play more? No. But let's focus on the value add of this specific lane for a second before we get to the negative immediately.
Can we stick with Del Potro for a second? Because something that occurred to me too is what a great way to end a career, right? I mean, we've talked a lot about how there's no easy way to do this. And it does seem like whether it's Roger at Laver Cup, it does seem like the EXO is the way to go. But you can grovel for a wild card, but you're not really competitive, and you sort of have that awkward moment of you're facing some 21-year-old
Which
kid.
Which he did, by the way, a couple years ago. He did that.
Who's that?
Del Potro.
But I'm saying, what a great this occasion where look, he can go out. He's packed a stadium. He's not playing on some grandstand at 2:00 waiting for the second on to finish. You have this event. You can even win your last match, but more important than that, you pack a stadium and get a real send-off, and you don't have to grovel for a wild card and turn it into a last-minute ticket grab. I thought this was a really elegant way to wrap up a career.
Yeah, no other sport can really do that,
Yeah, I mean, unless it's, but you don't think exhibition boxing has been good recently?
Yeah.
No, that was not good. It was very sad. And that wasn't ending a career, right? That wasn't like an official swan song. That was a cash grab.
I hope it was an official swan song for one side of it. But anyways, we love Juan Martin. Nothing but respect. And even there are relationships in tennis where you don't know how they start. You're getting to know someone. You have a weird match where tensions run high, and then all of a sudden you fast forward 5 or 10 years and respect wins out and you're friends for the rest of your life, right? From the moment Juan Martin lands on tour, he's established those relationships quickly. No weirdness. He doesn't need time, to get better as a person, to learn how to live on tour as a, respectful citizen. Got it right away. Was in on the joke right away. Everyone loved him right away and didn't stop.
I mean, just sidebar, as long as we're talking about the player against whom you played your last match, one thing I remember about that day was how thoroughly classy and pitch perfect he was. I assume he knew, I'm trying to remember. I mean, I assume he knew this was your last match, but it's at the US Open and there was very little emoting. He played well. He significantly, he was younger than you. He was probably in better form at the time. He won the match. He gave you a hug and then he got out of there and let you have your moment. And I thought, even if he, in his mind, his coach told him, hey, look, it's Andy's last match, I thought he handled that with such an abundance of class. That's one of my real takeaways from your last match, was how well he handled the difficult position he was put in.
Yeah, I mean, he knew. I retired after my first round, and then this was, and it wasn't a nothing thing too. It wasn't as if, listen, I wasn't what I was, but I wasn't nothing. I'd won 2 out of my last 4 events, and this was the second week of a major. So it wasn't as if, he was being classy in an exhibition, and I won the first set and ended up not winning another set. But yeah, totally. I mean, embrace at the net. And then, like you said, put his arms out towards me, and it was as classy, but it's, okay, being classy is one thing, but being classy as in a surprising exactly 0 people is another thing entirely. When you've set precedent where, that's just the way he is, that's another level. It's not a moment of class. It's a lifetime of class for Juan Martin. So we love him. We respect him. We hope that he gets through the rest of it. I mean, reading his posts about how painful his body is and driving around it hurts, and going upstairs and he hasn't gone up a stair without it hurting. We talk about the physicality of the sport, but the other side of it is hard. Our bodies aren't supposed to do what we do, on hard surfaces from the time we're 7 or 8 years old. It takes a toll. And unfortunately, it's taken more of a toll on him than anyone I can remember in recent memory. Obviously, nobody deserves that, but especially not someone as decent as he is.